In this video we are going to talk about 15 largest oil tankers in the world. So before starting this video, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for our future updates. Tankers transport massive amounts of crude oil across oceans. These massive oil tankers move almost 2 billion tons annually, according to the UNCTAD. These oil tankers were built with maximal capacity, deadweight, in mind to meet the enormous demand for crude oil at the time. Some of these technical wonders still transport crude across our waters. Let us examine the world's largest oil consumers. Number 15. Seawise Giant. The Seawise Giant was the world's largest tanker. It was the world's longest self-propelled ship when built. It was originally called Seawise Giant, then Happy Giant, Jar Viking, Knock Nevis, and ultimately Montana. This vessel was 458.46 m long, 1,505.1 feet. Its deadweight tonnage was 564,763, gross tonnage was 260,851, and displacement was 657,019 tons. Seawise Giant was built in Kanagawa, Japan, and operated by Prayati Shipping. Due to its draft, this oil tanker could not transit the English Channel, the Panama Canal, or the Suez Canal. The Seawise Giant sank in 1988 after being bombed during the Iran-Iraq conflict. It was later recovered and converted into a floating storage vessel. It was scrapped in 2009 following its final trip as Mont. Number 14. Pierre Guillemot. He was one of 4 Bacillus-class supertankers. It was named for the French statesman and measured 414.23 meters, 1,359 feet, in length. It was run by Elf Aquitaine, created by Pierre Guillemot. Pierre Guillemot had a brief lifespan due to the falling crude oil market and its massive size. Due to its size, it could not transit via the Panama or Suez canals, limiting its service area. For these reasons, the ship was sold to Hyundai Corporation in 1983 and renamed Ulsan Master. It was scrapped the same year. Number 13. Prairial. Prairial, like the other Bacillus-class oil tankers, was built in Saint-Nazaire, France. It is 414.22 meters, 1,359.0 feet, long. It weighed 555,046 deadweight tons and 274,825. It had 4 Stahl-Laval steam turbines that could produce up to 65,000 horsepower. Prairial served the longest of her 3 sisters, from 1979 to 2003. During her service, she was renamed Sea Brilliance, Hellas Foss, and Sea Giant. In 2003, she was retired from service and scrapped in Gadani, Pakistan. Number 12. Belemaya. Belemaya, 414.22 meters, 1,359.0 feet, long, is Pierre Guillemot and Prairial's sister ship. It weighs 553,662 deadweight tons and 247,267 gross tons. From 1976 through 1986, Belemaya operated. The ship was built by Chantiers de l'Atlantique for Shell Oil's French business, but was never used due to the declining oil market and its size. Only Seawise Giant surpassed it in size. Belemaya was retired from active duty in Norway in 1984. 2 years later, in January 1986, it was demolished in Ulsan, South Korea. Number 11. Bacillus. In 1976, Chantiers de l'Atlantique built Bacillus for Shell Oil in France. The class would subsequently include Belemaya, Pierre Guillemot, and Prairial. With a length of 414.22 meters and a deadweight tonnage of 553,662, Bacillus was a massive ship. The ship joined a new oil terminal, Antifer, in 1976. This was one of the few ports that could handle Bacillus-class tankers. Ships in the Persian Gulf and Northern Europe were frequent. Bacillus saw just 4 to 5 flights per year due to the declining oil market, which fell to roughly 2 by 1981. The ship was eventually docked in Norway and scrapped in 1985. It died in Taiwan in December 1985. Number 11. Esso Atlantic. Esso Tankers Incorporated ran Esso Atlantic. It was one of only 7 ships in the world with a 500,000-ton deadweight capacity. It was one of the largest oil tankers at 406.57 meters, 1,333.9 feet. Esso Atlantic weighed 516,895 deadweight tons and 259,532 gross tons. Her draft of 25.3 m meant she couldn't cross the English Channel, the Panama Canal, or the Suez Canal. In 1983, the Esso Atlantic moved to the Bahamas. It ran until 2002, when it was sold to Pakistani shipbreakers for scrap. Number 10. Esso Pacific. Esso Pacific was Esso Atlantic's sibling. It was likewise owned and operated by Esso Tankers Incorporated and measured 406.57 meters, 1,339 feet, long. Esso Pacific, like her sister, had a deadweight capacity of over 500,000 tons, making it one of 7 ships with this feature. The English Channel, the Panama and Suez Canals, and the English Channel were all difficult for this enormous oil tanker. It ran from 1977 to 2002, like Esso Atlantic. Esso Pacific had the same destiny. She was scrapped in Pakistan's Gadani shipbreaking yard. Number 8. Nai Superba. Originally an oil ship, Nai Superba also transported chemicals globally. Despite its many uses, the ship had to be sold several times between 1985 and 1997 due to financial issues. The ship was dismantled in 2001 due to the industry's economic problems at the time. Number 7. Nai Genova. Nai Genova was Superba's sister ship. The Eriksbergs Mekaniska Verkstads AB shipyard in Sweden built it. It was 381.81 meters, 1,253 feet, long, almost as long as Nai Superba. Its gross tonnage was 188,947, less than its sibling. The Nai Genova was an oil ship that also transported chemicals to ports across the world. Sadly, it was victim to economic hardships and had various owners and operators throughout the years. Like many other ships on this list, Nai Genova was unable to escape the deteriorating oil market. After years of difficulty, the ship was demolished in 2000, 1 year before her sister. Number 6. Berga Empress. Berga Empress was built in Chiba in 1976. In terms of tonnage, it was 423,745 deadweight tons and 211,358 gross tons. Bergesen DY and AMP co-owned and operated the oil tanker for a long time. Due to its tremendous length, it was once one of the world's largest oil tankers. She outlived several of the oil ships on this list. But, for much of the same reasons, the Berga Empress was cancelled. But it did last over 30 years, longer than any other supersized oil tankers. She died in 2004. Number 5. Berga Emperor. The Berga Emperor came before the Empress. Bergesen DY and AMP Company built her in 1975 in Japan. The Berga Emperor was 381.82 meters, 1,252.7 feet, long, like the ship that followed it. Its deadweight tonnage was 413,999, less than the Berga Empress's. Unlike its younger sibling, the Berga Emperor was short-lived. It was owned by the original owner until 1985, when it was sold to Mosto BV. The ship was renamed simply Emperor and scrapped in Taiwan the following year. Number 4. TI Asia. TI Asia, FSO Asia since 2009, is a TI-class supertanker. Tankers International owns and operates it, hence the TI in the name. Its current name originates from its later conversion to a floating storage and offloading vessel. The TI Asia is 380 m long, 1,247 feet, with a deadweight and gross tonnage of 234,006 and 234,006. TI Asia was built in 2002 by Daewoo Shipbuilding and AMP, Marine Engineering in Korea. The ship was originally named Hellespont Alhambra and sold to Euronav NV and Partners in 2004. That makes the TI Asia, or FSO Asia, one of the largest ships still in service. Number 3. TI Africa. TI Africa's story is remarkably similar to TI Asia's. Tankers International, popularly known as TI Africa, owned and operated it. It was and remains storage and offloading vessel. It is likewise being built by Daewoo Shipbuilding and AMP Marine Engineering, and has the same length, deadweight, and gross tonnage as FSO Asia. Before being owned by Euronav NV and Partners, FSO Africa was known as Hellespont Metropolis. The ship cost $89 million in 2002 and required 700,000 hours of labor. The FSO Africa is still in service, but it is too wide to transit the Suez Canal. Number 2. TI Europe. TI Europe is the third of Daewoo Shipbuilding and AMP Marine Engineering's TI-class supertankers. This ship, likewise operated by Tankers International, was 380 meters, 1,247 feet, long. TI Europe, unlike TI Asia and TI Africa, was not an FSO. Before being acquired by Euronav NV and Partners, the ship was known as Hellespont Terra. TI Europe, like the others, is faster than other oil tankers of similar specs. This is one of the reasons it can earn more. Because none of the ships can traverse the Suez Canal, they are limited in their operations. Number 1. TI Oceania. TI Oceania is the last of the 4 TI supertankers. She is identical in length, deadweight, and gross tonnage to her Tankers International sister ships. Before 2004, the ship was known as Hellespont Fairfax. It was built in 2002 and is still used as an oil tanker. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching.